So the Southern Poverty Law Center has given in. They've issued an apology to Maajid Nawaz, and they no longer call him an anti-Muslim extremist. Now, for those of you that don't know what's been going on at all with this case, basically, the Southern Poverty Law Center published something called the Journalist's Manual, a field guide to anti-Muslim extremists. And on that list, they included Maajid Nawaz, who himself is Muslim. Basically, Maajid Nawaz used to be an Islamic extremist himself, and then just finally went through an awakening, was like, okay, political Islam, like extremist Islam is bad, but he still considers himself Muslim. So it's not that he's completely rejected Islam entirely, he's just rejected the political portion and is very outspoken about that. But he's still Muslim, so the anti-Muslim extremist accusation was just completely unfounded, like just totally unfounded. It's like the people that call people like Jordan Peterson alt-right, those kind of situations where it's coming from either they're trapped in like an ideological bubble, in which case they're looking at everything and not even trying to understand the other side, or they're willingly, like, they know they're doing it, they know they're lying about these people. It's just one of those accusations that has no basis in reality at all. But luckily they won. Luckily, Maajid Nawaz won. It didn't actually go to court. Like, Maajid Nawaz did not beat them in court. They gave in. They basically said, okay, like, don't sue. We will retract this. And they basically issued an apology and a statement saying, actually, I'll read it out here. The Southern Poverty Law Center was wrong to include Maajid Nawaz and the Quilliam Foundation, that's the foundation created by Maajid Nawaz, in our field guide to anti-Muslim extremists. Since we published the field guide, we have taken the time to do more research and have consulted with human rights advocates we respect. We found that Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam have made valuable and important contributions to public discourse, including by promoting pluralism and condemning both anti-Muslim bigotry and Islamic extremism. Although we may have our differences with some of the positions that Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam have taken, they are most certainly not anti-Muslim extremists. We would like to extend our sincerest apologies to Mr. Nawaz, Quilliam, and our readers for the error, and we wish Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam all the best. So they've apologized. Now, when it comes to the Southern Poverty Law Center, like, this is important because I don't like them at all. Like, there are some groups that, like, hey, there are actually just tons of groups that I look at them and I say, I disagree with you. I think you say some things that are wrong, but I still respect them. And this is, like, not just organizations, but people as well. There's these people I respect, even though I disagree with them on several things. I at least know they're being honest. I at least know that they're really doing what they believe in, and they're not, like, super ideological in that they hate everyone that's different from them. And then there's groups like the SPLC, which have called, like, Kekistan a hate symbol, have just gone full bore, like, they're so far radical that pretty much anyone that opposes them is an extremist in their eye. And then they'll post several things which are, like, they're just wrong. They're just they're trapped in this bubble and they can't see what's going on. Now, the fact that this never did go to court, even though it was threatened, like, it was threatened to go to court, the fact that it didn't, I enjoy that. I tend to support organizations that want to put out false things. Like, if they put out false stuff, I think, like, that's my job, that's our job to debunk them, to show that they are wrong, to make them look stupid, and to pull back the curtains and say, look at these people being stupid, look at these people being wrong and intentionally wrong, and that's how you go about solving it. You just shine a spotlight on them and show why they're wrong. Although, in this case, like, I'll take it. I'll gladly take it. The SPLC, I don't think they're genuine people. It doesn't seem like they're really willing to fight, quote, hate. It seems like they just have their enemy, and anyone that disagrees with them is a terrible person. So I am glad to see this is what's been happening, that this is what Maajid Nawaz did. He just showed, like, hey, these people were wrong. These people were lying about me. And, like, that's dangerous. That's defamation. That's slandering him. Because, again, there are some things where, like, I might have thought something about someone, and it turns out I was wrong, and I might have said, like, hey, I think they're this, and then I realized I was wrong, and I'm like, okay, they're actually not this. And then there are times where it's like, okay, I either haven't researched this person, or I have researched this person, but I'm still going to say they're the total opposite of what they are. It's kind of like saying, Elizabeth Warren is a white supremacist. It's like, well, that's not true. I don't like Elizabeth Warren, but that is obviously not true. Like, I have so many critiques of her, but it is so, like, that accusing her of being like a white supremacist is so out there. It's just not true. Now, there are, again, other things that I think I can make judgments about her character, but again, I would never say something like that, and that's why I tend to have a policy where unless I've really researched someone, I tend not to say anything about him. And with someone like Elizabeth Warren, where I've seen quite a few things about her, but like I don't know if she's written a book. If she has written a book, I haven't read it, so I tend not to talk about those people. Whereas the Southern Poverty Law Center, again, it's either they haven't done their research and they're still willing to slander people, or they have done their research and then they do the opposite and slander them anyway. So I'm glad to see that people are like that this has been shown to people. Like, hey, Southern Poverty Law Center, not an accurate source. If you've never heard of someone before and someone's calling them a hate group and you look them up on Southern Poverty Law Center and the SPLC says, hey, this person's a hateful person, that does not mean anything. In fact, if the SPLC says someone is hateful, I tend to like them. I tend to think, well, they must not be all bad because the SPLC hates them. But, yeah, so that's what happened. I'll leave a link in the description to the apology that they gave. I'm glad that they put out an apology, even though they were forced to do it. It's not like they had some kind of revelation and realized, oh, I was wrong. And no, they were doing it because they were forced to. So, yeah, Southern Poverty Law Center, not a real source.